All right, welcome to the Thursday InstaClubhouse meeting. Today we're going to be talking about space travel and astronomy. As always, we're going to get started by going over our ropes. So let me pull those up for us. As we look at our ropes, we're going to start with R. Please be respectful in this space. Respect everyone's voice. We are all equals here and valued members of this discussion. Our next R is responsibility. Please be responsible for your role in this discussion. Everyone's held accountable for their actions. As I mentioned before, this session is recorded. We record it for the safety of everyone involved, but we also record it so that we can share it with those who cannot attend the session. Next is O. Please be open-minded. This is a public space. Everyone's coming with different ideas, different backgrounds, so be open to these new ideas. Next is opportunity. Taking advantage of this opportunity to connect and share with other people. Moving down to P, we please ask that you be patient with your fellow teens and the facilitators as we're learning together to use this virtual space. There might be some technical issues, just kind of give us some time to figure those things out. The next P is participation. We encourage participation. This is supposed to be an interactive experience, but we do also respect the fact that you might want to pass depending on the topic. Going along with that, we do expect effort for E. We ask that you try all the activities that we do, even if you do not want to share the results of the activity with the group. We ask that you be engaged. So finding a spot in your house where it's kind of quiet, you can focus on our conversation and remove all those distractions. This is supposed to be an experience where you're going to learn and share, but we also want to make sure you're having fun and you're enjoying the experience. So please let us know what we can do to make the experience more enjoyable. That's why we have you fill out reflection forms after the session. And then lastly, for S, in the virtual space, it's important that we give people space to speak. When we're talking online, it's kind of common courtesy to give someone a couple of seconds after they finish talking to make sure they are finishing their thought. And then lastly, this is a safe space. Any bullying and disrespect or inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. And again, all sessions are recorded for the safety of all the participants. All right, so I will stop sharing that for a second.
You should memorize that by the time we're done with these.
I probably will, because let's be real, like I do sessions Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So like it's almost like I don't even need to read it anymore. I see it all the time. What are you wearing? Is that a Christmas sweater?
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas in April. That's what's up.
Yeah, I just found it in my closet and I put it on.
Hey, you're at home. You might as well be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So Casey, we did our ropes. Now we're gonna get into introductions. How are you doing today?
Good, kinda.
Kinda. What's going on?
Cause like, okay, so I have my schoolwork still, and then I have like this thing now because I'm 16 years old. So I get this for CYF. Like they give me this lady, and she helps me with all like my stuff or whatever. And she like wants me to start driving, so I have to do all these driving tests and read through everything. It's crazy.
So it's school plus driving. Is there anything else that's on your plate right now?
No, it's not really that bad. But yeah.
You said driving tests, so like is it like practice tests, I'm guessing? Or
yeah, it's practice for so whenever she has to pay for like my actual test.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she doesn't have to pay for it like a million times.
So she's making sure that you pass the first time, so you have to do it over and over again.
Yeah, because that'll be a waste of money.
That makes sense. She's investing in, getting you prepared, so she doesn't have to pay for it later on. Okay. So that's exciting, though. You're going to get your license. When do you think you'll actually take the test? Do you have an idea?
Well, I have to complete these one chapter, so it's like as soon as I get to chapter 10, I have to tell her because chapter 11 is like the big test, and I can take it as many times. So if I pass that though within the first 3, she won't make me restart or whatever, and then I can go to my permit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I guess you got to wait like 6 months or something like that for a driver's license. Or you might have to be 18. I don't know.
No, I think it's you have to wait 6 months and then you have to drive, like, I think a certain amount of time with a licensed driver, like a certain number of hours behind the wheel with someone who can drive to meet the requirement. I think that's how it worked, or at least that's how it worked when I was a kid. Um, when I was getting my license, you had to be 15 and a half and you could get your permit. And then when you turn 16, you could take your driver's test. But that's back in the day back in the olden days, they've changed it. Um, how's school going? How's the whole setup with that? Did you get all the stuff you need and resources and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been talking with,
So
go ahead, Casey.
my friends, they keep on texting me to help them and stuff like that. Crazy.
Well, Casey, I remember like, oh, gosh, it's almost a month ago. We were talking about possibly doing like online sessions where like you and like classmates would just come and use like a virtual space to meet and like talk and hang out about like your schoolwork. Would that be something you'd still be interested in?
Yeah.
Okay. It's something that we talked about a while ago and we kind of got away from it. But I think, like you said, if your friends are calling you and asking for help and stuff like that, maybe it would be kind of cool to set up like a virtual hangout where they could actually, you guys could all just literally talk about your homework and work together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about space. I know this is something that you're interested in. So our warm-up question for today is, if you could go into space, would you? Why and why not?
Well, my reason is yes, and then, well, my thing is yes, and then I would just be like, why not?
Okay.
Like, it's fun.
Okay. I mean, I've never been, so I don't know what it's like up there. I probably wouldn't go. Like, I like roller coasters. I like adventures. I've been skydiving, but like space is just like too much for me. I'm like, if I go up there, like the littlest thing goes wrong and it could be bad. Like, it could be really bad. And you're
You'll
gone
be
for a long
remembered.
time. You'd be remembered. That's true. And the other thing
Doing a
is, like,
good deed.
if you go to space, I think you're gone for a long time. You're up there for like months at a time. But to each his own. So to start off our space discussion, I'm gonna like ask you a question, see if you know the answer, and then we'll go into a bigger discussion on that answer. So, Casey, do you know what the closest star is to Earth?
No.
Okay. The closest star to Earth is the sun. The sun's a
Oh,
star.
okay. I was thinking of that.
Okay. Um, so that's the closest star to us. And what does the sun provide to the Earth?
Energy.
Energy, definitely.
Yeah, and it gets here in 8.
Say it again.
It gets here in 8 minutes.
Oh, I didn't see. You're teaching me stuff. That's good. So when you say energy, like what energy? Like how's it coming here in that 8 minutes? How does it get here, or like what is actually being brought to Earth?
I don't know.
So, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a astronomer or anything, but I did look up some information. It says that like it provides light, heat, and energy. So it's like the energy that's pushed out to Earth, we harness that. So like solar panels and stuff like that. And you think about like plants do photosynthesis, like sucking in that light energy and converting it into something else. Um, Also, the sun helps. The sun's gravity is what keeps our planet in orbit. So, like, without the sun, what do you think would happen to the Earth? So, if we lost the sun, it disappeared, what would happen to the Earth?
Our solar system that we have right now would probably separate, and we would try and find a new, probably something to keep us together. Like we would go into
Definitely.
a probably new solar system or something.
Definitely, that's exactly what would happen. So, like, if there's no sun, there's no gravitational pull around the sun anymore. So the planets will kind of just disperse and fall apart and go in different directions. Very cool. What do you think after the sun disappears and we're kind of like floating away? What would happen to us on the Earth? Hold on. So we got someone joining. Hello, Paige. Well, they asked to join, but they didn't actually come in. We'll see what happens. Um, so yeah, like in our solar system, we would spread out. But what do you think would happen here on Earth if the sun wasn't here?
Well, I don't know if we might survive a little longer, but we would probably go extinct after after a little while.
Hi, Paige.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How's everything with you?
Pretty good. So my name's Kellen. I'm from the Boys and Girls Clubs. We have Casey on with us. Paige, what we typically do when someone joins in, we do a quick check-in with them, and then we have a warm-up question for the activity we're doing today. So Paige, if you could introduce yourself, maybe say where you're from, and then how you're doing today.
Hi, I'm Paige. I'm 17. I am from Pittsburgh, PA. I am actually here because Nick Sindrich invited me in. That's how I know about this, and he thought it would be a good thing for me to join. And I'm doing pretty well.
Awesome. Nick's a really good guy. He actually is a part of our teen council, and we asked our teen council members to like recruit friends to get them to try this out because we're trying to build out this InstaClubhouse for teens to have a space to kind of talk about different things, learn some life skills, things like that. So I really appreciate you being here, Paige. So today's like session focus is actually on space and like astronomy. So we're kind of like discussing like science, but then also some like theoretical, hypothetical, and science fiction kind of stuff. So our introduction question for today was, if you could go into space, would you? Why and why not? So would you go to space if you had the chance?
I most definitely would. I've loved space since I was like a little girl. It has been my dream to try and go to space.
Oh, that's perfect because Casey's really big into space too. So this will be a good conversation. Um,
Glad I
so
joined.
yeah, this is perfect. This is a great one for you to start with. So we just started and we were talking about the closest star to our planet, which is the sun. And we actually got to the point where we were talking about what would happen if we did not have a sun. And Casey brought up the really good point that, our solar system would literally fall apart because there would be nothing like, there'd be no gravitational pull keeping us like in orbit. And then we were talking about what would happen here on planet Earth if there was no sun. So what do you think would happen, Paige?
Well, if there wasn't a sun, we wouldn't really have any life, seeing how the plants take the sun and use it to create oxygen and stuff, and to take carbon dioxide out of our atmosphere. So technically, there wouldn't be anything here, and there might not be any humans or any type of life forms whatsoever on this planet.
Definitely. I mean, we live with the sun is how we live. It's the only reason we're able to survive. Um, the next thing we wanted to go into, so we talked about the sun. We're going to be moving into our solar system. So pretty much, Paige, what I have planned out is I ask you a question, and then we go into a deeper discussion about the answer to that question. So, how many planets are in our solar system?
That depends. Are we including Pluto?
We are not.
Or no? No?
Yep.
Ah.
So how many planets, not including Pluto?
8.
Yeah. 8 is correct.
There is 8.
And with having 8 planets, can you both name them all? Working together, can you name all of them?
Okay, we can work.
Maybe start at the sun
Mars.
and work your way out.
You can go first if you want.
I only know like 3.
Mars, Mercury.
There's.
Say that again, Casey.
Okay, so Mars, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Earth, and what's the last one? What am I forgetting?
It's the largest planet.
Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Oh yeah.
Nice job. Good teamwork. I like it. I'm glad, Paige, you brought up Pluto. And do you know why it is not considered a planet anymore?
Last I heard, it wasn't considered a planet. It is considered a dwarf planet because it's not big enough to be technically considered to be like the rest of the planets. At least from what I last heard of, but I haven't heard much about it since.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what you said. What makes a planet a planet? Very good question. So there are, and again, I'm not a scientist, but I did look it up a little bit. Pluto is actually considered to be a dwarf planet because it does not meet the 3 criteria that are used to describe a full-size planet. So especially that Pluto, it meets all the criteria except for it has not cleared its neighboring region of objects. So pretty much it's in the orbit of other objects. Objects don't orbit it. So like our moon is within our orbit, right? We're not orbiting another planet. Kind of get what I'm saying here? But Pluto does. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next question for you guys is, what is your favorite planet? So if you had to pick one.
I know mine.
Go ahead, Casey.
Mine's is Venus because Mercury is closer to the sun than Venus, but Venus is hotter than Mercury. And I don't really like the heat. I just like Venus because it's pretty.
That's an interesting fact. I mean, most people don't know that. You know, you always assume closer to the sun, the hotter it is, but that's something you can use and tell people like an interesting fact about our solar system. I like that. What about you, Paige?
I don't really have a favorite planet, but I do like Mars, especially seeing how they found frozen water and stuff on it not that long ago. So that seems like there could be potential for life, or there could have been at some point, because it has water to help support life if there ever was. So it just seems interesting to me.
Awesome. And we're going to, and then later on in our discussion. Go ahead, Casey. Say that again.
So are they saying that like there's no life on Mars right now, but there could have been in the past?
From last I heard, yes. I haven't read too much about it recently, but whenever they found the ice caps, I think they were near the poles of Mars, they were saying there could have possibly been life, or there could possibly in the future be life, or there could currently be life now, but we just haven't gotten close enough to see it.
Oh,
and we're going to talk. We're going to be talking about that later on in our discussion about, you know, life outside of our planet and things like that. But that is really interesting with Mars, you know, the potential that life could live on Mars is huge, not just for finding new like aliens, but also for us, for space travel, and like colonizing Mars is something that might be something we do in the future. So we went from our sun to our solar system. Now we're going to expand out to our galaxy. Do either one of you know what galaxy Earth is located in?
Milky Way.
It is the Milky Way galaxy. Very good. And how many planets are in the Milky Way galaxy?
Isn't it just our planets from the solar system?
Nope.
Is there 46?
No, but what made you guess 46?
I don't know. It's just a random number.
What do you? I'll say it's higher than 46. What do you think, Paige?
I think it's like in the billions, because doesn't our Milky Way contain of multiple different galaxies and stuff within it? So then there could technically be many different planets in there. So I'm gonna guess somewhere in the billions, maybe.
Okay, I'll give you that. It's 100
Wait, so
billion
are we doing
planets.
undiscovered or discovered?
This is a good follow-up question.
Discovered that many?
There's 100 billion. That's the answer that I got when I looked it up. But but it's kind of hard to believe that they've categorized and found 100 billion planets. That's a really big number.
Yeah.
But like again, it's space, so it's like that might be even low. Like it could be 100 trillion for all we know. But the results I got was 100 billion planets within the Milky Way galaxy. My next question is, how old is the Milky Way galaxy? How old do you think it is?
Like really old. How can we know how old it is?
I was going to say, don't ask me how they figured this number out, but there is a number for what scientists believe the age of the Milky Way galaxy is.
No idea.
Any
Yeah,
guess?
I have no idea.
I will say that it's young. There's less years than planets in the Milky Way galaxy. So it's less than 100 billion years old.
Well, I mean, that could be any number, technically.
I'll give it to you guys.
How is that possible?
Wait, I want to say around 10 billion years, maybe, if not a little older.
Okay, 10. Casey, guess?
I don't have a guess. I don't know.
Well, Paige, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you weren't that far off.
Really?
I found that it's 13.52 billion years old. Again, I don't necessarily know. I'll do some research for our next meeting to figure out how they got that number. But that's how old our galaxy is. The next portion I wanted to show you is before we get into our community discussion. So, Paige, what we typically do in our sessions, the first half hour is like a lesson, like we learn new things and stuff like that. And then the second half is more of a community discussion. But before we do that, I want to share with you this really interesting website I found on the solar system. So give me a second so I can present this to you.
Okay.
So what I'm showing you right now, and I'm going to put the link in the chat box when I'm done, is basically it's a 3D model of our solar system. And what you can do is literally like click on whatever planet you're interested in and explore that even deeper. So you can look at, you can visit the actual, so we're visiting the sun right now, and it gives you a detailed description and overview of the like facts about the sun, how it's built, its role in the galaxy and everything like that. Then it also lets you look at the structure of it. So like giving a cross section of how it's built up. So you can do like your own kind of virtual tour of our solar system. So like Casey, you said that, let me see, make sure I'm doing this right. Venus was your favorite planet. We can go and like do a real deep dive into Venus and understand it a little bit better.
Nice.
So I wanted to share this with you all. So you know, take some time, explore the galaxy a little bit. Explore our solar system. And it's just a kind of a fun thing to play around with when you get a chance. So let me put the link in our chat box. And I'll stop presenting chat box and give you the link. So yeah, whenever you get a chance, go check that out. It's something that's it's fun, it's interactive, and you can actually go outside of our solar system. Like it went into like galaxies around us and stuff. So play around with it. I think it's something that's really interesting, especially if you're into space and understanding it a little bit better. So Paige, I know you jumped on a little bit later. All of our sessions are recorded because like if someone else wanted to be here but couldn't. So like I know like Nick has school and he would want to be here but he can't. If he still wanted to be a part of our discussion, we post the first half, the lesson half, onto our YouTube page so someone could come back and see what we were talking about. Then the second half, which I'm going to do in a second, is our community discussion, which is more personal, and we don't actually post that one. So I'm actually going to stop recording for a second, but then we start the recording again for our own personal, for safety reasons, things like that. but this second half is just going to be more of a community discussion for us as a group. So it's going to be 1 second to stop the recording.